And Chuck Stevens, have you experienced or witnessed anything miraculous in your time working with Julie Renee?
Yes, this had been going on for a year and a half. My wife was getting increasingly more sick all the time. You could see it each day. It was getting to the point where it was getting dramatically worse, and just about the point where she was talking to me about how I was going to be raising Chrissy alone and giving me advice on dating, and it was really sad. And a friend of mine called me up on the phone and said, "Chuck, you've been talking about your wife being sick," and I was at a party and I ran into this lady that says that she has some ability to heal, and I was very skeptical. And she actually called me. She says she never does this. Normally, people just do referrals. And so I was really skeptical because we had been to two other well-known that my brother had given me the names of. One was just a diagnostician, and the other did also healing. And neither one had been able to really help us. And so she on the phone, she said, "Well, look, I'll just give you a freebie on the phone here, and on your wife. Give me her name," and she did. And she said, "You might notice a difference when you go home." So I was very skeptical at this one because we'd tried everything. We'd been to something like, 15 doctors, 65, 70 trips to the emergency room, and so on. And Western medicine had failed us completely, in spite of a Cadillac plan. And so when I got home, my wife had been bedridden at this point, and when I got home, she was up and still very sick, but she was actually up, and I thought, this is a good sign. And so as we began to see Renee, we had several sessions with her, and she worked on her cells to rejuvenate them. The nucleus was dead in some cases. We began to see that she was getting better dramatically. She was getting better much faster than she was getting sick. She was getting sicker pretty fast. So that was, now look at her. She's smiling. We're planning our life. We're not talking about funerals. Chrissy's happier now. It's a whole different world for us right now.
And what happened with the pain level that she was experiencing at the time?
Well, we had been, like I said, about a year and a half. We had been going to doctors, and all they could do was just increase the dosage of the painkillers. And she was on several different kinds of painkillers and so many medications that I would go to I was a full-time nurse practically. My job had almost disintegrated. And I'd go to the counter there with all the medicines, and I couldn't find this one, I couldn't find that one. There was so many to have to deal with, and I thought, how is she ever going to get off this stuff? Because it's so hard to get off of it. And this was about the point where now she's able to reduce the medications. She's almost off the painkillers now.
I went from 150 mgs of OxyContin, and I'm now down to 20, and next week I'll be off of it completely. I went down from 3 1.5 syringes of morphine down to 1, and I am no longer taking Lyrica or Lexapro or any other pain medications like Dilaudid. So by next week I'll be completely off of all narcotics, which is miraculous.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's April 7th, and figure by mid-April, from the time I met Julie Renee in end of February to mid-April, gone. And the pain went almost instantaneously when I started with her. That's what I forgot to mention, is just a phenomenal drop in the pain and the swelling. My stomach was out to here, and it's just completely gone down.
See, conventional doctors can't see what Renee can see. What they do is they give you CAT scans. And so it's MRIs, CAT scans, one after another. She must have had 7 or 8 CAT scans, and those aren't good for you. There's radiation involved and so on. And so, and doctors won't do anything unless they can see it on the CAT scan. And she wound up, even the 2 other mediums, or not mediums, but the healers we went to, both saw infections that none of the doctors could see. And if they can't see it, they will not go in. They'll let you die. And Renee was able to see 5 infections, and she started treating them right away. And so we're, on the road to having our lives back.